got a question. Ask Tom on Home Show Radio.
This is Home Show Radio live on Facebook and YouTube. Your questions, Tom's answers. Now here's Tom Tynan and Charlie Mosier.
In the flesh and here to help you this morning on Thursday morning. It's Home Show Radio, Facebook Live at 8:45 on Thursday morning. It's almost like we had advertising people who came up with that one.
Are we on?
Yes, live.
You were
over most of
this
Facebook
at 8:45 on Thursday.
Well, let's check the watch. It's 8:45,
Okay.
so we would be on. So anyway, we're here to answer the questions.
Very nice.
Yes, we're here to answer the
Your watch
questions
is
you
very
send
nice.
us at homeshowradio.com. You click on that Ask Tom form, you send the questions in, and what happens to them? They come out here or in our daily videos that we post. But Tom is here to answer the questions, and we're going to be joined this morning. We have had rains like crazy this week, and as a result, we're getting a lot of questions about gutters. And so we're going to be joined in a little bit by Jimmy Reckner with Custom Gutters. He'll be our guest here this morning on the show to answer your questions about gutters. And you can't believe how many questions there are about gutters, Tom, or maybe you can.
No, I can. And if you look at the weather pattern we're going to get this week, Jimmy, they better get you in soon because you're going to be sitting for a few days.
Indeed.
And, man, people are going to know they got issues.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Jimmy with his questions.
I can't believe we got a tropical storm coming all of a sudden, and it's only in July.
Right. Well, we'll get to Jimmy and his questions and answers here in a couple minutes. But in the meantime, let's go and answer the questions you have. By the way, in case you didn't know, we are live. We're here live every Thursday morning, which means if you have questions right now, you can go ahead and put them in the comments section down at the bottom of the page, and they'll come up here on our little screen, and we can put them up, and Tom can answer them right here, right now, through the miracle of the interwebs. So,
or if you hear the lawnmower in the background, it's because I realize my yard man just showed up. It's
something every week. Last week we had a pump truck over here cleaning something out across the street. This week it's a lawnmower in your backyard. So,
it's just like being at home. Yeah. We're just kind of place. That's it.
Well, and we should let Jimmy know that if he wants to do some vacuuming around the house today, now would be a good time to get after that. So, all right.
Okay, Jimmy, go back.
Let's get to the question. Let's get to the questions we have for you here this morning. First one comes to us from George, who is in Afton Oaks. He says, I live in a 3-story townhouse, and the humidity varies, Tom, between 60 and 75%. I can really feel the humidity increase walking up the stairs to the 3rd floor especially. What humidity level should it be at, and how can I get it to that level?
I'd like to see it at 55 to 60%. I think in the Houston area that would be ideal. When I used to live in Lake Placid, New York, it would go down to 18%, and my sinuses would dry out like crazy, so I had to have a humidifier in the house just to put water in the air. But here in the Houston area, between 55 and 60 is perfect. And it's just a matter of having an air conditioning system that you have run properly. Now, some people don't want to use their air conditioners. They don't run them. Why? It's not my business. If that's the case and you're not going to run it, then you should run a dehumidifier to at least pull the humidity down. But if you run your air conditioning system regularly and you have a good one working, it'll keep the humidity levels down. If you're running it, the bottom line is this: call Absolute Comfort Air and have them come in and tweak that thing so it's going to dehumidify as well as cool, because about 35-40% of the energy it uses is for dehumidification.
Next question we have for you, Tom, comes from Broderick, who's in Independence Heights here in Houston. And I don't know, you know where Independence Heights is? I didn't know.
I have no idea.
I didn't know until I got this question. I went and found it. You go up I-45.
I know you're always looking up the places people call Mars, Texas. I'm from Mars, Texas. Really? And there actually is a Mars, Texas.
A couple weeks ago, Sandy and I went up to Athens. So, it's everything's in Texas. So you can go to Moscow. And all
I know, but you tend to look it up, and I like it.
All kidding aside, Independence Heights is as you go up I-45 north. You know that that like that like high. It's like a square house on a pole. I don't know what you call it. Kind of like it's on the right side as you go out of town. That's Independence Heights over there. So just that's where Broderick is.
Okay.
How about the question?
I don't know the house, but okay.
Okay. Anyway, Broderick writes, I'm in the process of building a fence. And he says, I'm going back and forth. He says, I'm not sure about the posts, steel or treated 4x4 posts. I'm mainly looking for longevity, taking into consideration I don't weld and would need to contract that part of the job. What do you think is the best pole for the job, Tom?
I think they're both fine, and they'll both last probably the same amount of time. You put anything in the ground, whether it's pressure-treated lumber, whether it's a metal post, unless it's just like a solid giant thing you would never use, it eventually is going to, the ground will win and the earth will win. You can't beat that battle, but that doesn't mean it's not going to last 20 years. It's not going to last 25 years. So I would tell you probably the simplest is going to be wood and the least expensive. And if you get a 0.4 pressure treated post that is meant to go into the ground and it's put in properly, it's going to be fine. Don't overthink a fence. You drive through Houston. I'm down in Brownsville. You drive through Brownsville. You drive through Corpus Christi. You drive through anywhere. You see millions of miles of fences. They're not going to last forever. Why we have so much, I find it to be kind of overkill. I really think it's a real waste of our resources. But
it's funny
everybody has a fence now.
It's funny you say that, because when I told you a minute ago, we were up in Athens a couple of weeks ago. We drove through the subdivision, and we're like, there's something odd about it. Then we noticed there were no fences until this one guy had this fence built around this backyard. It was like, wow, it looks really odd to have a fence when everybody else doesn't.
When I was a child in Fort Worth, Texas, growing up, there were no fences. We just ran from yard to yard to yard. People would put hedges up, and then, they would do things like that until people started putting pools in. Once they started putting pools in, then the insurance industry wanted you to put a fence around, which is perfectly understandable. But the whole idea that your whole world has to be fenced in kind of freaks me out.
Wait a minute. So if I don't get a pool, we don't have a fence.
You already have a fence, so you can have a pool.
So might as well get the pool. All right, you got a question? One more here. We got one more from John before we get to Jimmy. John in Meridian, Mississippi has this one. He says, I'm going nuts trying to understand the discrepancy between experts on whether to seal or vent attic and crawl spaces. Shouldn't science provide the correct answer on this, Tom? Hoping you can settle this before I start my build.
I think science has, if you want to call it science, but construction criteria has come from many universities about ventilation. And so maybe he should look it up on the internet if he can't find it. But for every 150 square feet of either crawl space under a house or attic floor space in a house, you need 1 square foot of opening. So it's there. It's already done. One of the problems we're having is we are losing our history in this country, whether it's construction, whether it's our country. We are forgetting about it because of cell phones and computers, and people don't realize this stuff has already been figured out.
Right. Just look it up.
I'm very serious.
No, I know.
It's sad.
I mean, I
work for a college, and we're always trying to give it back to the students to remember. You don't have to rethink it. It's already been thought.
Never has it been so easy to find so many answers, and never have so many people been so clueless.
Do you know that in 1896 they said, "We have discovered everything. There's nothing left."
Yeah.
Really? Okay, fine.
Well, actually, Tom, there's truth to this. I think that the guy's name was Trees in Russia. He researched all of the patents that had run through the Russian patent office and figured out that there are 40 answers to every problem. One of 40 answers is covered in every patent. And it's given way to this thing called Trees theory, or Triz theory, depending on how you want to pronounce it. But that you're right. the answers have been found. It's just the applications have changed over time. But anyway.
Charlie, how many times have I told you? Our show, Home Show Radio, consists of basically 20 questions asked 1 million different ways. It's the same thing. We're going to talk about
it's your
gutters
rapier wit, Tom.
You don't have to refigure gutters.
Right.
You just have to put them on right.
And it's your fast wit and your cunning charm that keeps people coming back year after year.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what it is. All right.
Okay, fine.
Time for us to add another piece of element to the soup here today. We're going to be joined by one of our home show pros. You find all our home show pros, by the way, on the homepage. You scroll down on the homepage and you find them. And today, the fickle finger of fate falls on custom gutters, and Jimmy Reckner, who joins us this morning from Custom Gutters. Good morning, Jimmy, and welcome to the program. But you got to turn on your microphone,
Jimmy,
buddy.
hit your button. Hit your
forgot.
mic
Oh, you
button.
forgot on.
Good morning, guys.
No worries. It
I
happens.
told you we were going to tell you when the time came.
And I did. I just got
It's
kind of snuck.
okay. I got a lawnmower outside. It's
I
all
didn't
right.
exactly
No
sneak
problem.
up
How
on
you
the
guys
guy.
doing this morning?
Jimmy is not only is he one of our home show pros, he's just a heck of a guy. He came up. Your dad started you in this business, didn't he?
Yes, he started me when I was 13 years old. And
Wow,
I'm
that's fantastic.
60 now.
It-
It's a long time.
And now Jimmy's 23.
That's a whole lot of gutters.
Yes, sir.
That's right. It's all of us across the table here. Between us, there's 180 years of knowledge, give or take, right?
Okay. Charlie, before you ask him, you're about to ask him questions. This is going to be very quick. Jimmy, did your dad have the gutter machines and the gutter truck that you have today?
It
Or
hasn't
was it
changed.
a different system?
It hasn't changed much. The only thing
Wow.
that has changed is the size of the gutters that are available now. Way back in 1973, the only gutter size available was 5-inch.
Oh,
Now
okay.
we have 5-inch, 6-inch, and 7-inch. It's amazing.
Well, we'll talk
Yeah.
more about that as we go along, Jimmy. But what we have here is we have a bunch of questions we got from our Ask Tom section about gutters. And so I'm going to ask you a couple, and we can work our way through them that way. First one comes to us from Jimmy. He's in Conroe. He says, I believe I have a gutter problem. He says, I thought the gutters were leaking, but it seems that the rooftop is pushing the water over my gutters. The problem has now become so serious as I don't want water in my home. What's your advice for him?
Sounds like the gutters that you have on your house are undersized for your home. Most homes have 5-inch gutters because they are the cheapest. And most gutters are put on by the builder. And the builder is going to cut his costs any way possible. So they put up the cheapest gutters available. Nowadays, you have the choice of 6-inch and 7-inch gutters, which handle twice as much water as the 5-inch gutters.
Jimmy, again, when you put these gutters on, do you use those old spikes where they used to just pound a spike through the whole thing? How's the attachment work?
No, the spike system does no longer work because the majority of the homes now are built with hardy. And if you start pounding a nail into hardy, you're going to crack it. So we have special screws that with neoprene washers on them that are watertight. So we screw them in. We put our brackets every 24 inches, and you can hang on them. You won't have a problem.
Wow. Okay.
We don't recommend hanging on the gutters. Just the insurance
Only
people ask.
if your ladder moves and you're falling off the roof.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Okay.
I have done that before. The gutter came down. I actually grabbed the gutter, and it slowly came off the house, and it saved me all the way to the ground. Oh, God, I don't want to go back there.
Okay.
Yes, Charlie. Your turn.
Stories from the field. All right. Next question comes from Tim. He's in Stagecoach, which by Cyprus. He says the downspouts of my gutters appear to be clogged. He says I'm with pine needles. That's what's in there. He says, is there anything like Drano that I can put in there to clean them out, Jimmy?
No, nothing like that is advised. No chemicals would remove it. The correct way to do it is to have your gutters completely cleaned out, water tested, and then If you have a clog, you can see that there'll be no water coming out of the bottom of the downspout. At that point, you need to disassemble the downspout, unclear the drain or the downspout, and then reassemble and reinstall the downspout. There's no chemicals that's going to take care of that issue.
Jimmy, that brings me up to two things. One is, do you have some kind of leaf system to keep the gutters from getting dirty? And secondly, what size downspout should people use? I've always been under the impression that a larger downspout, even if you have a smaller gutter, will help you avoid a lot of those problems.
It will. It will. The majority of the builders use the standard 2x3 downspout that you can buy in Home Depot and Lowe's. I use only the 3x4. I don't even stock 2x3. I use 3x4 on, I would say, 98% of my installs. And on when I do 7-inch gutters and some 6-inch, I'll use 4x5. And that's massive. That's something like you'd see on the back of a shopping center. But some occasions you need that.
Okay, back to, is there a screen you put on the top? What I know these systems are always being redeveloped to keep the leaves out of the gutters. What do you use?
Well, we have probably no less than 20 types of gutter screens or covers.
Okay, nice.
Depending on what you have. Pine needles, they're the worst because they make a nightmare. But if you have oak leaves, if you got pine needles, if you got anything else, some of that little fuzzy stuff, I don't even know what it's called. We have about 20 different types of gutter covers to choose from, and they vary in price. You know, sometimes I'll be honest with a lot of my customers. You can ask them. I recommend the cheapest one because it works the best. I'm not one of these guys out there that's going to sell you something just to up the sale. I don't need to do that. I sell the customer what they need for the job.
Fair enough. 20, I just want to make sure I heard you right. 20 different kinds of screens.
I do have about 20 different types of screens. There's 3 or 4 that I highly recommend, but
wow,
I can get up to 20 different types of cover.
Wow. All right. Last question for you we got comes from Manville this morning. Chris says, I've lived in a new construction home for 3 years. It did not come with an option for gutters. So does not having gutters put my foundation at any kind of risk?
Absolutely, 100%. Gutters' main purpose is to protect the foundation of your home. I have people tell me all the time, oh, I don't go to that side of the house. I don't need gutters over there. Well, that's really not true. You have foundation on that side of the house that needs to be protected. Whether you go over there or not is irrelevant. You need to protect everywhere. People are under the impression that, oh, I don't have a flower bed over there, so I don't need gutters. They think that the main purpose is to protect the flower bed. In reality, the main purpose is to protect the foundation of the house.
Jimmy, do you do the drainage from the gutters to wherever you need to drain it, or do you recommend that they hire a drainage person to continue the process?
No, we don't do any underground drains. We'll drop the downspout down, and then if they want to pipe it out to the street, we'll recommend an irrigation company to handle that.
That's the job for a licensed irrigator for sure, because there's a lot more to it than just digging a hole and laying a pipe. As you've taught me, Tom, over the years, there's the rate at which the pipe goes down and the size of it and where it goes and whether you can tie into the drains. There's a lot to it, you know. So Jimmy's like, you know, my father-in-law is a heart doctor, and he says, I know about this. You know? Nice. I know about this. Don't ask me about the rest. I know this. So, and Jimmy knows. Jimmy knows this.
Yeah.
So,
Jimmy,
anyway.
would you rather have the drains put in first, or would you rather put your gutters in then the drains?
The gutters and downspouts go in first.
Okay. I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm not in the business. I don't know.
Why? Because we want, where the downspout meets the drain, we want a nice, smooth transition. Okay. Sometimes, and it's not on purpose, I'm sure of this, sometimes the drain guy puts the drain not even in line with a post for the downspout. So now you got to finagle the downspout to look, it just looks terrible. So I recommend that the downspouts are in place. This way, there's no question on where the underground pipe has to come up to tee up to it.
I think it's good advice. Thanks.
And
Very much.
Jimmy, you can do these seamless gutters in 5, 6, 7, depending on the size of the. Is that what drives the size of the gutter? Is the pitch or the size of the roof or what?
Yes, the pitch of the roof, the slope of the roof, how many valleys are in a roof where water comes down so much faster than a regular roof. So yeah, that's determined. Plus, we're getting a lot more rain these days than we have been in the past. So the water volume is tremendous, and a lot of people they don't want downspouts. They don't like the look of downspouts. I don't want a downspout here. I don't want one here. Well, you need to upsize your gutters if you're going to skimp on a few downspouts.
So a 7-inch gutter, I basically could take a bath in.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah, I know, that's a big
In your
gutter.
dreams,
When
Tom.
you start to increase the size, you really increase the volume
That's right.
that it can handle for sure.
Tom, you're gonna be running a few more miles before you're bathing in a 7-inch downspout. I'm just saying.
Thank you. I gotta go now.
Okay. Jimmy, last question for you before we go here this morning. First of all, if you're looking for Jimmy, you can find him on our website there at homeshowradio.com. You just scroll down to where the Home Show Pros are and look for that custom gutters button right there. Go and click on that and it'll take you to the page where you find Jimmy. Jimmy, question before you go. Gutters, you've been doing this since you're 15 years old, right? Give or take?
13.
13.
Well,
Well,
he
you-
already told me when you went off for water.
It took a couple of years for you to gain mastery. So anyway, so since 15 years old, what has changed in gutters since then? Has there been a lot of change at all, or is the gutter technology stayed the same?
No, there's quite a bit of change. The majority of the gutters used to be put up in pieces, 10-foot sections from the box stores. All right. And every 10 feet you had a leak. The machine rolls it out one piece. Well, if you need a piece 75 feet long, roll it out 75 feet. We don't use the long gutter spikes anymore. They've been replaced by what we call hidden hangers. We put 2-inch screws with a neoprene washer on it every 24 inches, and that holds the gutters up. They don't work their way loose like they used to with the spike system.
And that's the thing about Jimmy's, and you'll find this with most of our Home Show Pros, is that they are real passionate about what they do, and Jimmy knows what he does. I mean, gutters is his deal. I mean, he knows. So, Jimmy, thanks a lot for being here this morning, and appreciate you taking time to answer our questions with us. And if you bet. All right. Now, if you want to get your questions on the show, where's this one here? You want to go to homeshowradio.com and click on this. It's the Ask Tom button. You fill it out, you send it in, and we'll answer your question in a video or and you can send pictures. I meant to mention that. We'll answer them in our videos that we put up on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or we may even answer them right here on our Facebook Live at 8:45 every Thursday morning. So, but Tom will
Charlie,
be on.
I want everybody to know that you seem distracted sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's because you are the entire producer of this. You have 4,000 buttons to touch.
Not 4,000, just 32 of them here.
That's 4,000 to me.
Trying to run the thing.
That's why you're like, let me look down here a minute.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to make sure I get the right one. But anyway, hey, I'm going to put one up here that says when you're on the radio. So talk about the show. Tell people where they can find you on the weekend.
Hey, I'll be here on this weekend. I'm broadcasting live from Brownsville because I just came into town last night, and I have a job here I have to do. But always, wherever I go, we are live. And let me tell you, we went through this whole COVID thing, and we're still going through it. But I think one show, it was the 4th of July, that we didn't go live. We have been live every day on Sports Radio 610, 9 to 12 on Saturday and 8 to 11 on Sunday. And let's not forget our little buddy, our little friend, Danny Milliken.
Thank you for being specific. Yeah.
No, not at all. He's a wonderful gentleman.
No, it's great. And he's joined by 6 of the leading garden pros around the the city independent garden centers that are part of the Home Show Garden Pros, and they're here on Saturday mornings before Tom holds court. And I got to say, Tom, you were off 4th of July, but you were on the 5th. So we only took Saturday off.
I was on the 5th. Sunday.
That's right.
Sunday was the 5th. You betcha.
Right.
We have not missed it. Entire radio stations have gone down, but we have been live every weekend.
We're here
I think it's cool.
for you. So, all right.
Well, Charlie, it's a team you put together.
Well, it's a team effort for all of us. So we will be back, though, next Thursday morning. If you got questions, go visit homeshowradio.com, fill it out, send it in, and we'll answer them. And otherwise, we'll see you.